Ta-da, it's me. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I know I said I would upload this video like Sunday, but I got distracted and it was still Valentine's Day weekend and I did not have the time, and I really do apologize. So without further ado, here we go. Let's get into this video. And I know people are probably gonna get annoyed with like the glare of my glasses just because I did lose my contacts over the weekend because drunk me was trying to take them out and they got lost. So we're gonna deal with glasses for a minute until I buy some contacts. Anyway, let's get into the video. This video basically is going to talk about the beginning of my transition, where I was working, what I did to kind of make it a easy workspace for me, and how I came out to my peers. So I decided to come out in 2014. I finally decided to take the plunge because I was like, I'm tired of living this fantasy that I can't be who I am because people are gonna hate me for it. I was like, not even fantasy, that's the delusion talking. So I was like, why not take the plunge? So I took the plunge. I started coming out, and in that time I was working at this place called Nordstrom Rack. If anyone knows, you know, if you don't, oh well. But yes, I was working there at the time. It was very interesting. It was a very nice, diverse group of people who were very loving and accepting. There were a few people who I will get to talk about later in this video that were not very nice to me, which, you know, it is what it is. People are going to talk about you to the day you die, so you might as well do what you want to do and live it up. So I came out, I texted a few of my friends. I was like, hey, you know, would you like me or would you support me if I still, you know, if I decide to transition? Of course, they were like, you know, we love you. Of course, if you do this, like, we're going to be here to support you. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, whatever. So I decided to come out, and I then ended up coming out into my job, and just thinking about it, it still makes me so nervous to this day because I distinctly remember coming in the day I decided, or like, you know, let's just say like I decided to open up to my peers on Monday, and then I was like, wow, I have to have this talk with my job like later this week because I want to get this you know, done. So I end up talking to my supervisor of the women's department and saying like, hey, this is what I plan to do with myself, this is what I want to do. You know, is there any possible way you could talk to them for me, because I don't know how to do this, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say, so like, could you help me out here? She said, of course, like, when are your days off? Do you want to do this with the group, or do you want me to do it? Blah, blah, blah. She was just the most accommodating supervisor. I love her to death, and I hope she's doing well. So basically I was like, can you do it? I have the next 2 days off. So when I come back, you know, then, you know, I should, you know, everyone should know, and I don't have to have this talk with anybody. So I was like, okay, cool, great. So I come back, everyone's very receptive, everyone immediately starts saying Sophie, she, her. Of course there's like a slip up here and there because, like, you know, I've been working here for a hot minute, and then just to switch up out of nowhere, it's just like, okay, so it's hard to, you know, it's just hard. So we're gonna call the first person who gave me shit baser number 1, and the other person baser number 2. So baser number 1 did have some issues with it. They really didn't understand what was going on. Of course, me being who I am, I'm a very patient person, so I thought, you know, if I educate this person, if I try to let them see a new perspective of why I'm doing this, they'll understand. Eventually they did. They still were, you know, they were very religious, and not to say that religion is an excuse to be an asshole, but they were just, you know, these are my views, I will respect your views as well, but, you know, this is why I can't fully, like, get, you know, grasp the concept. I was like, okay, understandable, as long as you respect my pronouns and my name. Cool, great. So then baser number 2. Baser number 2 and I had, you know, previous back and forth, just like of us roasting each other. And my thing is, when you roast me, if you go 2, I'm gonna stay at 2. But if you decide to go 3 and keep going, I'm gonna go 2, you know, 2 more levels ahead of you. So we would always roast each other. I remember one day I called her like an old crusty bat because she's an old bitch, and I don't feel any, you know, sympathy for how I'm going about myself right now in this moment, or in that moment. So one day, she, you know, we were shooting the shit or whatever, and then she leaves, and then I hear someone say like, Sophie, I don't understand why you're friends with her, or decide to, you know, have these conversations with her because she talks shit behind your back. And I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, she literally says how she won't respect your pronouns, how she doesn't want to call you by that name, how she doesn't want to do X, Y, and Z, and just saying like how she doesn't respect my decisions and says I'm going to hell. And I'm like, Interesting. That's very interesting. So I started to distance myself, and the minute I started to retract who I was from her, she started to get really mean and nasty. She was getting like really rude. She would talk shit in front of me to other people and just make it very obvious. She would start talking about me to other people, and it was just like, are you serious? Mind you, this woman I believe had to be in like her mid 40s at this point. And it's just like, I think I was like 20 or 21 at the time. So I'm just like, what the hell's wrong with you? So it continued to the point to where I ended up getting fired because I went over our manager, not my supervisor, but the manager of our Boca location. I decided to go over her, and then I went to HR and reported the issues and the incidents that were happening, all the hateful shit she was saying behind my back, just for me to get fired because they were like, maybe Sophie is the problem set of her. Maybe she's the one causing all this drama. I was like, are you serious? I literally had 3 witnesses go, you know, in front of HR and stick up for me and say, like, this woman is the problem. Like, she's literally causing Sophie to go through hell and blah, blah, blah. And it was just so ridiculous. So I was like, whatever, it is what it is. Everything happens for a reason. So I kind of just took it, grin and bear it, and just found a new job. So that was my coming out story at work. It did suck, and it was very stressful because it was like, how am I gonna pay my bills? It did cause a bump in the road, but eventually it led me to the right place at the right time. So now going on to advice of how I would personally handle it, I would definitely make sure that you have a very supportive staff with you. Someone like my supervisor who is more than accommodating, who will, you know, if you are too nervous to talk to your coworkers, maybe you having your supervisor hold a meeting and talk to them about your pronouns, you know, transitioning and all that, educating your supervisor to talk for you and, you know, let them know, you know, what it is to be trans, I don't know. So making sure that you have that community of support just from your coworkers and people in your environment, that's a big plus. So making sure that you have a job that will do that for you. I was very lucky in that aspect. My second piece of advice would be to not take any shit. That definitely do not sit there and feel that you have to take discrimination, that you have to take someone bullying you and harassing you. Don't take it whatsoever, because that was my biggest mistake, was letting this go on as long as it did. So I highly recommend, as soon as something like that happens, go to your manager, go to HR and report it right away, because there's no need to take this harassment. It's so unnecessary. So it doesn't build just a case and someone's working against you while this is all happening. My third piece of advice is strut your shit. You got this far to transition, you got this far to be who you are and be yourself. By all means, strut your shit. Like, you are that bitch. You are doing wonders. You are literally making strides for people within our community to transition and come out as who you are. So strut it. Don't be scared to be who you are around these coworkers. Let them know who you are and let it be a roar. Don't sit there and feel like you have to hide it and be timid about letting these people know who you are. So those would be my biggest advices when transitioning in the work area. And I really hope that, you know, you get that support and making sure that you have a job that is going to not only pay your bills in your transition, but, you know, be as accommodating and understanding of your situation and what you're choosing to do with your life. Like, I hope that, you know, for girls like me or just people who are trans that are going through this, I hope that this video helps you and lets you know that, like, you know, you're gonna have bad experiences. You might even have a great experience with it. I know my job now where I work, they're more than accommodating. They're very open about being, you know, are part of the LGBT, and like, pretty much everyone is queer there and brown. Like, it's the coolest job I've ever had. And, you know, I really hope that you can find a safe place like that where you can express yourself and be the creative individual you are around people. So I really, like I said, I really hope this video did help. If, you know, you have any more questions, by all means, I'm always on Instagram and I am on Twitter, and I do have my email on Instagram. I'll link that all down below. On Twitter, it's best to always email me because I do check that religiously, versus Instagram where I really don't see it because there's that approve or deny in your DMs now, so I don't always see like who's messaging me, but I'll leave my email down below. But like I said, I hope this video helps. If you guys have any more questions, I do hope to make another video this week about my favorites of the month and what I've been doing, like what I like for myself, like my skincare and all that, and clothing. So we'll get into that later. But to get back to the root, like, this channel was meant to help my community and be a voice, someone's to, you know, lean their head on me and like you know, if you ever need anything, I don't want anyone to ever feel like I did. Like, I didn't really think of anyone on YouTube that I can, like, watch and, like, have more experiences and listen to them. So I hope I can do that for you and give back to you guys. So until next time, bye guys.